Well, hello, how are you? Hey, friends, welcome to the Shen Show. I am your host, Senator Briscoe. Hey, you know what? I got a happy birthday shout out today. Oh, today is, by the way, Thursday, December the 3rd, 2020. Got a happy birthday shout outs going out to Jeanette Gaines and Jacob Entrup. Now, I also got a belated happy birthday shout out going out to Kilah Adams. And so, without further ado, hey Goliath, hey Jacob, hey Janet, hey, you heard it's birthday today. So, happy birthday, I'ma say. You know, you're 1 more year older today, so happy birthday to you, I say. Hey Janet, Jacob, and Goliath, hey, I heard it's birthday today. You know, that's another trip around the sun that you made. Oh, I know that you're going to enjoy every minute of your day. So happy birthday to you, I say. I said a happy birthday to you, I say. And many more. You cha 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 cha. There you go. I know it was late, but I got it in there for you. Now I don't know if that's Kyla. Um, I think it's Kyla. That could be it. Anyway, there you go. Happy birthday to you, kiddo. All right. I also got my friend show, Shen Show, the Shen Show friends. Those are the folks that like the Shen Show, and that would be like Leony Pedraza Fernandez, Lisa Foster, Martin Kelly, Talia Shepard, uh, Jamie Old Driscoll, Gina Cornites Daniel, and then I've got my pokey pals. Yes, sir, my pokey pal, Sue. Amanda Sue Little. That's right. Amanda Sue Little is my daily pokey pal. All right, my pokey pal gal. That's what we call her. All right, now then. Let's do a weather forecast for the St. Charles viewing area for those of you that live in the surrounding area of the St. Charles City area. This is tonight's forecast for the remainder of December the 3rd. Some clouds, lows around 30 degrees Fahrenheit, with winds light and variable west at 3 miles per hour. Friday, December the 4th, some clouds in the morning will give way to mainly skies. Mainly sunny skies, that is, in the afternoon. Highs will be around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds will be west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies overnight, with lows digging down around 26 degrees Fahrenheit, with winds northwest at 10 miles an hour, 5 to 10, 6, somewhere around 6. How about Saturday, December the 5th? Mainly sunny skies. Highs around 48 degrees Fahrenheit with winds light and variable north at 3 miles per hour. Clear skies overnight with few low passings clouds. Lows are going to dig down around the 26 mark again with winds light and variable east at 2 miles per hour. Sunday, December the 6th, intervals of clouds and sunshine in the morning, with more clouds for the later in the afternoon. The high around 44 degrees Boulevard, and winds are going to be north to northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Considerable cloudiness early in the evening, plus some clouds and some decrease in the clouds overnight. Lows around 27 degrees Fahrenheit with winds light and variable. Monday, December the 7th, partly cloudy skies, highs around 46 degrees Fahrenheit with winds northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies overnight with lows around 29 degrees Fahrenheit and winds light and variable. And then Tuesday, December the 8th, generally sunny skies despite a few afternoon clouds. Highs around 50 degrees Fahrenheit with winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. A few remaining clouds overnight with temperatures digging down around 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are going to be light and variable west at 5 miles per hour. And there you go, my friends. That concludes the St. Charles weather for the St. Charles viewing area, brought to you again by White Castle. That's right, the little White Castle. All right, I got a few songs I want to shout out and sing some songs. I like the songs. I like the songs that make the young girls smile, but that's not what I'm going to sing. These are off of one of my mom's favorite movies. I guess it is her favorite movie. It's called Bugsy Malone. And well, I've got a few songs off of there that I really like. So, here's one of them. We're just going to kick her on off. It's called Tomorrow. Get rid of the ad. Tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. What kind of fool do they take me for? Tomorrow, a resting place for bums, a trap set in the slums. But now I know the score. I won't take no for an answer. I was born to be a dancer now, yeah. Tomorrow, as they say, is another working day and another chore. Tomorrow, an awful price to pay. I gave up yesterday, but still they say they still want more. They are bound to compare me to Fred Astaire when I'm done, yeah. Anyone who feels the rhythm moving through 'em knows it's gonna do 'em good to let the music burst out. Or when you feel it assert, let the people know it. Let your laughter loose until you scream, become a love and shout out. Hey, tomorrow is far away. Tomorrow, as they say, is reversal from dreams. Tomorrow's looking gray. A playground always looked, and trains no warning turns. Oh, won't take no for an answer. I was born to be a dancer now. Anyone who feels the rhythm moving through 'em knows that it's gonna do 'em good to let the music burst out. When you feel assured, let people know it. Let your laughter loosen till you scream, but becomes a love shout. Why? Tomorrow never comes. Down, down, down and out, 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 down, down, down and out. You don't have to sit around complaining about the way your life is wound up. Think of all the time that you waste and the times of precious thing to let go by. Sure, you've hit the bottom, but remember you'll be building from the ground up. Every day's another step that take, and everybody's closer to the sky. So give it a try. Down, down, down and out, down, down, down and out, down, down, down and out, down, down, down and out. You don't have to sit around depressed about the way your luck has deceived you. Fortune sailed away and you missed the boat and you found it. You'd been left behind. Fight and fight and fight some more till you know the world is all ready to receive you. A lady luck is fickle, but a lady is always to change her mind. Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 ba-dum. You don't have to sit around complaining about the way your life is wound up. Complaining about, so be a man. You know you can be certain that you'll lose until you try. Boom, 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 boom. You don't have to sit around complaining about the way your life is wound up. So be a man, you know you can be certain that you'll never lose until you try. So give it a try. Boom, 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 da do, 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 do. You don't have to sit around complaining about the way your life is wound up. So be a man, you know you can't be certain that you can't be certain if you don't try. So give it a try. We is one chump. Up, up, up and out, up and out, and up and out around. Up, up and out, up and out, up and out. Oh, let's see. Let's try this one. So you wanna be a boxer? So you wanna learn the ropes? Wait a minute. Sorry, I got to start that one over. Let me drink a drink of water too. So you wanna be a boxer in a golden ring? Can you punch like a southbound freight train? Tell me just one thing. Can you move a while like your hummingbird wing? If you need to, all that's fast. Can you bob? Can you weave? Can you fake and deceive when you need to? Well, you might be well quit. Well, you might as well quit if you haven't got it. So you wanna be a boxer? Can you pass the test? It can tell you've got, I can tell you've got it in you. I've trained the best. When you work and you sweat and you train, and you bet that train to buzz and saw, and then you nearly lose your mind when you find that your boy has got a glass jaw. So you may as well quit if you haven't got it. Put him in the ring, Joe. Oh, look what you found. Oh, we can then use a fun Joe pushing him around. We'll show him the ropes and destroy his hopes. Put him in the ring, Joe. Give the guy a chance. Let him feel the sting, Joe. We can make him dance. We'll pulp him to bits. And then he'll call it quits for sure, Joe. So you wanna be a boxer? Win the belt. Win the golden boy inside you. Not a punch out tramp. If you listen and you learn, there's an honor you can earn. And defender, when you DC the crown, you're a king, not a clown, not a clown contender. But you might as well quit if you haven't got it. Put him in the ring, Joe. Something new to punch. Let me have him swing, Joe. And then we'll go to lunch. We'll make it quite swift. And then he'll get the drift. Put him in the ring, Joe. Chicken a la carte. Let me have a wing, Joe. Tearing apart. Let that chicken grow. Let me have them, Joe. All right, sorry. Whoops, what did I do? I shut it out. All right, that's okay. Oh, well, how much time do I got going in here, buddy? Oh, yeah, it looks like it's about time for story time anyway. Story time for the kids. Gather all the kids around the old television. It's time to settle down for Grandpa TV. Grandpa, that's who it is. And we're going to do part two of the Snow Fairy Queen. The Snow Queen Fairy Tale, part two. You know, yesterday we left off with the ice flying all over the place. The mirror had shattered, and ice was everywhere. Glasses of slivered glass, making people look ugly from the outside in. Every little nook and cranny that was ugly about them shone more and more. Now, here we go. In a large town where there were so many houses and so many people that there is no room left for everybody to have a little garden, and were on this account most persons are obliged to content themselves with flowers in pots. There lived two little children who had a garden somewhat larger than a flower pot. They were not brother and sister, but they cared for each other as much as if they were. Their parents lived exactly opposite. They inhabited two garrets, and where the roof of the one house joined at that of the other, and the gutters ran along the extreme end of it, there was to each house a small window. One needed only to step over the gutters to get from one window to the other. The children's parents had large wooden boxes there, in which vegetables for the kitchen were planted, and little rose trees besides. There was a rose in each box, and they grew splendidly. They now thought of placing the boxes across the gutters so that they nearly reached from one window to the other, and looked just like two walls of flowers. The trendles of the peas hung over all the boxes, and the rose trees shot up along branches twined around the windows and then bent towards each other. It was almost like a triumphant arch of foliage and flowers. The boxes were very high, and the children knew that they must not creep over them, so they often obtained permission to get out of the windows to each other and to sit on their little stools among the roses. They where they did where they could play delightfully. In winter there was an end of this pleasure. The windows were often frozen over, but heated then they had heated copper farthings on the stove, and laid the hot farthings on the window pane, and then they had a capital peephole, quite nicely rounded, and out of each peep peeped a gentle, friendly eye. It was the little boy and the little girl who were looking out. His name was Kay, and hers was Greta. The summer was In summer, with one jump, they could get to each other, but in winter they were obliged first to go down the long stairs, and then up the long stairs again, and out of doors there was quite a snowstorm. It is the white bees that are swarming, said Kay's old grandmother. Do the white bees choose a queen? Asked the little boy, for he knew that the honey bees always have one. Yes, said the grandmother, she flies where the swarms hangs in the thickest clusters. She is the largest of all, and she can never remain quiet on the earth, but goes up again into the black clouds. Many winter's night and winter's night she flies through the streets of the town and peeps in the windows, and they then freeze into so wondrous a manner that they look like flowers. Yes, I've seen it, said both of the children, and they knew that it was true. Can the Snow Queen come in? Said the little girl. Only let her come in. Sigh, sigh, said the little boy. Only let her come inside, said the little boy. Then I'd put her on the stove, and she'd melt. And then his grandmother patted his head and told him other stories. In the evening, when little Kay was at home and half undressed, he climbed up on the chair by the window and peeped out of the little hole. A few snowflakes were falling, and one, the largest of all, remained lying on the edge of a flower pot. The flake of snow grew larger and larger, and at last it was like a young lady dressed in the finest white gauze, made of 1,000,000 little flakes like stars. She was so beautiful and delicate, but she was of ice. of drizzling, sparkling ice. Yet she lived. Her eyes gazed fixed like two stars, but there was neither quiet nor repose in them. She nodded towards the window and beckoned with her hand, and the little boy was frightened and jumped down from the chair. It seemed to him as if at the same moment a large bird flew past the window. The next day it was a sharp frost, and then the spring came. The sun shone, the green leaves appeared, the swallows built their nests, the windows were opened, and the little children again sat in their pretty gardens high up on the lids of the top of the house. The summer the roses flew. That summer the roses flowered in unwontedly beauty. The little girl had learned a hymn in which there was something about roses, and then she thought of her own flowers, and she sang the verse to the little boy, who then sang it with her. The roses in the valley is blooming so sweet, and angels descend there, the children to greet. And the children held each other by the hand, kissed the roses, looked up and at the clear sunshine, and spoke as though they really saw angels there. What lovely summer days those were! How delightful to be out in the air near the fresh rose bushes, and that seemed as if they would never finish blooming. Kay and Greta looked at the picture book full of beasts and of birds, and it was then the clock in the church tower was just striking 5 that Kay said, "Oh, I feel such a sharp pain in my heart." And now something was gone into my eye. The little girl put her arms around his neck. He winked his eyes. Now there was nothing to be seen. "I think it is out now," said he, but it was not. It was just one of those pieces of glass from the magic mirror that had gotten into his eye, and the poor Kay had got another piece right in his heart. "It will soon become like ice." It did not hurt any longer, but there it was. "What are you crying for?" asked he. "You look so ugly. There's nothing the matter with me." "Ah," said he at once, "that rose is cankered, and looks like this one, a quite crooked. It's quite crooked. After all, these roses are very ugly. They are just like the box they are planted in." And then he gave the box a good kick with his foot, and pulled out both the roses up. "What are you doing?" cried the little girl, and as he perceived he pulled up another rose. "Get in the window and hastened." He got in the window and hastened off from the dear little Greta. Afterwards, when she brought her picture book, he asked, "What horrid beasts have you there?" And if his grandmother told them stories, he always interrupted her. Besides, if he could manage it, he would get behind her, put on her spectacles, and imitate her way of speaking. He copied all her ways, and then everybody laughed at him. He was soon able to imitate the gait and the manner of everyone in the street. Everything that was peculiar and displeasing in them, that Kay knew how to imitate. And at such times all the people said, "The boy is certainly very clever." But it was the glass he had got in his eye the glass that was sticking in his heart, which made him tease every little Greta, even little Greta, who was whole soul, was devoted to him. His games now were quite different to what they had formerly been. They were so very knowing. One winter's day, when the flakes of snow were flying about, he spread the skirts of his blue coat and caught the snow as it fell. "Look through this glass, Greta," said he, and every flake seemed larger and appeared like a magnificent flower or beautiful star. It was splendid to look at. "Look, how clever!" said Kay. "That's much more interesting than real flowers. They are as exact as possible. There is not a fault in them if they did not melt." It was not long after this that Kay came one day with large gloves on and his little sledge at his back, and bowled right into Greta's ears. "I have permission to go outside into the square where the others are playing," and off he was in a moment. There in the marketplace some of the boldest of the boys used to tie their slegs to the carts as they passed by, and so they were pulled along and got a good ride. It was so capital, just as they were in the very height of their amusement. A large sledge passed by. It was painted quite white, and there was someone in it, wrapped up in a rough white mantle of fur, with a rough white fur cap on his head. The sledge drove around the square twice, and Kay tied on his sledge as quickly as he could, and off he drove with it. On, on they went, quicker and quicker, into the next street, and the person who drove turned round to Kay and nodded to him in a friendly manner, just as if they knew each other. Every time he was going to untie his sledge, the person nodded to him, and then Kay sat quiet. And so on they went until they came outside the gates of the town. Then the snow began to fall so thickly that the little boy could not see an arm's length before him, but still on he went, when suddenly he let go the string that held him in his hands in order to get loose from the sledge. But it was of no use. Still the little vehicle rushed on with the quickness of the wind. He then cried as loud as he could, but no one heard him. The snow drifted, and the sled flew on, and sometimes it gave a jerk as though they were driving over hedges and ditches. He was quite frightened, and he tried to repeat the Lord's Prayer, but all he could do, he was only able to remember the multiplication tables. The snowflakes grew larger and larger, till at last they looked just like great white fowls. Suddenly they flew on one side, the large sledge stopped, and the person who drove rose up. It was a lady. Her cloak and cap were of snow. She was tall and of slender figure, and of dazzling whiteness. It was the Snow Queen. "We have traveled fast," said she, "but it is freezingly cold. Come under my bearskin." And she put him in the sled beside her, wrapped the fur around him, and he felt as though he were sinking in a snow wreath. "Are you still cold?" asked she, and then she kissed his forehead. Ah, it was colder than ice. It penetrated into his very heart, which was already almost as frozen lump. It seemed to him if he were about to die, but a moment more, and it was quite congenial to him, and he did not remark the cold that was around him. My sled, don't forget my sled. It was the first thing he thought of. It was there tied to one of the white chickens, who flew along with it on his back behind the large sled. The queen, the snow queen, kissed Kay once more, and then he forgot little Greta, grandmother, and all whom he had left in his home. Now you will have no more kisses, said she, or else I should kiss you to death. Kay looked at her. She was very beautiful, a more clever or a more lovely contestant he could not fancy to himself, and she no longer appeared of ice as before. When she sat outside the window and beckoned him to his eyes, in his eyes she was perfect and did not fear her at all, and told her that he could calculate in his head and with fractions even, and that he knew the number of square miles there were in the different countries, and how many inhabitants they contained. And she smiled while he spoke. It then seemed to him as if what he knew was not enough, and he looked upwards in the large, huge, empty space above him, and on she flew with him, flew high over the black clouds, while the storms moaned and whistled as though it were singing some old tune. On they flew, over the woods and lakes, over the seas and many lands, and beneath them the chilling storms rushed fast. The wolves howled and the snow crackled. Above them flew large screaming crows, but higher up appeared the moon, quite large and bright, and it was on it that Kay gazed during the long, long winter's night, while by day he slept at the feet of the Snow Queen. And there you have it. Wow, there's another part to it. Click here for part 3. Now we're going to have to save part 3 for tomorrow because, well, like I said, looks like it's about time for our portion of the program called Our Daily Bread. Today's portion of the program called Our Daily Bread is going to be brought to you today by the Bible with Briscoe 2020. Yes, the Bible with Briscoe 2020 is a daily reading of the Bible to be completed within 1 year. Today's reading will be Ezekiel 45 through 46 and 1 John 2. All right, let's see. The Daily Bread portion of the program. Today's devotion in the Daily Bread is the privilege of prayer. We'll be reading 1 Chronicles 29:11 through 19. And here we go. Yours, Lord, is the greatness and the power, and the glory and the majesty and the splendor, for everything in heaven and earth is yours. Yours, Lord, is the kingdom. You are exalted as head over all. Wealth and honor come from you. You are the ruler of all things. In your hands are strength and power to exalt and give strength to all. Now, our God, we give you thanks and praise your glorious name. But who am I? And who are my people that we should be able to give as generously as this? Everything comes from you, and have given you only what comes from your hand. We are foreigners and strangers in your sight, as were all our ancestors. Our days on earth are like a shadow without hope. Lord our God, all this abundance that we have provided for building you a temple for your holy name comes from your hand, and all of it belongs to you. I know, my God, that you test the heart and are pleased with integrity. All these things I have given willingly and with honest intent. And now I have seen with joy how willingly your people are, who are here, have given to you. Lord, the God of our father Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, keep these desires and thoughts in the hearts of your people forever, and keep their hearts loyal to you, and give my son Solomon the wholehearted devotion to keep your commands, statutes, and decrees, and to do everything to build the planted potential structure for which I have provided. And there you go. Hey, that was First Chronicles 29 through 11. And that was the privilege of prayer. By golly, that there was the end of the Daily Bread portion of the program, which means it's the end of the Shen Show. Got one more song for you, and that would be, oh, well, goodbye, my friends. It's time to go. I said goodbye, my friends. It's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must go. So goodbye, my friends, goodbye. This here's been Shenandoah Briscoe saying hello and how are you? Thanks for tuning into the Shen Show. And as always, God loves you and so do I. So come back and see me tomorrow because, I'll be here and I hope that you are too.